Welcome to Module 2 of Financial Finesse. How is your relationship with money? We have often grown up being influenced by others about the concepts of making, saving, and spending money. Whether you realize it or not, the beliefs and values of others impact you as much as, if not more, than religion, sex, and culture. Next, you will explore the beliefs around money in your quest for financial finesse. We will look at the following. What beliefs about money do people typically hold that impact their financial situations, good or bad? What contributes the most to the formation of our beliefs around money? Parents, marriage, hardships, or is it something else? And in what way? What major influence or perspectives about money do you remember when you were growing up? How, if at all, do you still hold on to these? There isn't a part of our lives that money doesn't touch. It affects our relationships, the way we go about our everyday lives, our ability to make dreams a reality, everything. One of your major goals in life should be to reach the point where you have enough money so that you never have to worry about money again. Obtaining financial freedom is something that many pursue for most of their lives. Sadly, it is also a taboo topic of conversation. In our culture, where we freely discuss our most intimate issues, we don't discuss money. Because of this, most people live in a world of partial self-delusion or even fantasy with regard to money. They wish, they hope, and they pray about their financial futures, while at the same time, deep in their hearts, they believe that their dreams will never materialize. Money is not the answer to prosperity problems. Wisdom is. If you do not know how to accumulate and utilize money effectively, no amount of it will help you. If you have a good money consciousness, you can take a tiny seed and grow it into a forest. If you have a poor money consciousness, you can take a huge gift and squander it. Money is not the root of all evil. Ignorance is. You can achieve whatever level of affluence you really want. You need to do what others have done before you to achieve the same results. If you don't, you won't. It's as simple as that. While it's obvious that having more money will provide you with more choices, the key is in the quality of choices you make. How would it feel to have enough money saved and invested, or enough sources of income that you no longer have to work for a living? Of course, you may choose to work because money provides choices, but you will not have to if you don't want to. If this sounds attractive to you, then it's time to begin spending less and earning more. You may think at this point that financial freedom is not possible short of a lottery win or a rather large gift from a generous benefactor, especially if you are drowning in a pile of credit card bills, pending student loans, or a huge monthly mortgage. The goal of financial independence may seem a far reach to you right now. Like lifting weights, sometimes what looks impossible is easy if you work at it in small increments. Financial independence is possible for just about everyone, even you. And the road to financial freedom doesn't begin in a bank, a brokerage firm, or a financial planner's office. It begins with your thoughts. Everything does. Let's start by recognizing that it is important to develop a healthy relationship with money. Where is that rooted? Well, it begins with an examination of your money beliefs. The decisions that you make are rooted in your beliefs, values, goals, and dreams. These same beliefs, values, goals, and dreams need to be in correct alignment to effectively filter all financial decisions. The trouble begins when they are not. Long ago, money did not exist. Money is a human invention that was driven by the wants and needs related to the advancement of the human condition. Because the use of barter as an exchange became ineffective and inefficient, the necessity of a medium of exchange for goods and services drove the invention of money. Contrary to popular myth, money is not a product of nature. It does not grow on trees, and it does not descend upon us from heaven. It is a man-made means of the exchange of energy. Thereby, it is an energetic symbol regardless of its form. During its 3,500-year history, many forms have represented this energy exchange, from shells to ingots to precious metal to paper and now electronic transactions. Money in its various forms is one of the most worthless things around. Think about it. What is the value of the paper and ink of a dollar bill? It is also an inanimate object. It is not intelligent or selective. It does not care whose pocket it is in. It does, however, take on the personality and behavior strategy of the person who possesses it. The usefulness and value of money lie in the decisions made by the possessor. So, what is it that makes money such a major part of our lives? It is not the money itself, but the power we assign to it. In her book, The Soul of Money, Lynn Twist describes money in its likeness to water. Money flows through our lives, sometimes like a rushing river, and sometimes like a trickle. When it is flowing, it can purify, cleanse, create growth, and nourish. But when it is blocked or held too long, it can grow stagnant and toxic to those withholding or hoarding it. Like water, money is a carrier. It can carry blessed energy, possibility, and intention, or it can carry control, domination, and guilt. It can be the currency of love, a conduit for commitment, or a carrier of hurt or harm. We can be flooded with money and drowned in its excess, and we can dam it up unnecessarily, where we keep it out of circulation to the detriment of ourselves and others. You see, money issues are rooted in us, not in our money. They are rooted in our beliefs. Often they are related to our early formative experiences. To understand this about yourself, you must start with a step back and think about the earliest moments when money meant something to you and when you truly understood the meaning of having it versus not having it. For example, if you were fearful of not having money, that fear may be showing up in your life in ways that you may not realize. Statistics show that in the Western world, in America especially, most people do not think about their long-term financial security. The average person in America today, after a lifetime of well-paid work, has a net worth of $31,000. More than 80% of retired Americans are partially or completely dependent upon their Social Security. Start planning now to avoid this. What if this funding, Social Security, is depleted by the time that you retire? What is your backup plan? This is a rising concern due to the aging population and the economic conditions that we find ourselves in. In America today, there are millions of people who have started with nothing, even deeply in debt, and who have gone on to create financial independence. The attitudes and behaviors of these people have been studied extensively. As a result, we know the keys to wealth creation better than ever. The primary determinants of how much you acquire and how much you keep over the course of your working lifetime are based upon your beliefs. Your own memories will provide you a great deal of information regarding the origination of your beliefs around money. Once you take a step back and examine them, those memories are probably still playing out in your life today. Money can provide the freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it. It can provide you with choices and open doors for you. Do you feel like you deserve to prosper? How would you feel if you were in a better position to help others? Do you rejoice in the good fortune of others? One of the most common obstacles to achieving financial independence is a deep-seated belief that somehow money is wrong and the wealthy are inherently evil. This belief is not based on any factual foundation. It can go back to early childhood conditioning, when a growing child is often convinced of this idea because of the desires of others to rationalize his or her own financial fears and failures. Another great mental obstacle to financial success is a belief that you do not deserve to be wealthy. This could result from being raised in a steady flow of destructive criticism, which has led you to conclude unconsciously that you do not deserve to be wealthy, successful, or happy. The worst effect of negative childhood experiences, which are all too common, is that when people actually do succeed as a result of hard work, they feel guilty. They feel like imposters. These feelings of undeservingness then cause them to do things to get rid of the money, to throw it away through spending or investing in foolish ways. They lend it, lose it, or squander it. These types of beliefs cause people to become their own worst enemies by engaging in self-sabotage, which sometimes shows itself as overeating, excessive drinking, drug usage, marital infidelity, and other destructive personality changes and behaviors. The truth is that money is good. It floats the boat. It gives you choices and enables you to live your life in the way in which you wish to live it. Money opens doors for you that would have been closed in its absence. It takes money to purchase homes, cars, clothes, experiences, food, and most of the great things in life. As discussed earlier, money is an exchange of energy and is attracted to people who know how to treat it well. Money tends to flow up towards people who can use it in the most productive ways to produce goods and services and to create employment and opportunities that benefit others. At the same time, money flows away from those who use it poorly or who spend it in non-productive ways. Security is a deep human need, and money can help provide security. Security is often about more than money, but money sure helps. Because the need for security places us into survival mode, worries and fears around money can cause much distress and unhappiness. Security is one of the deepest human needs. Any threat to it, real or imaginary, can significantly hold one back from achieving goals. An obsession with money can be hurtful if a person becomes so preoccupied with money that he or she loses sight of the fact that money is merely a medium of exchange for energy. The Bible says the love of money or anything else material is the root of all evil. It does not say money is the root of all evil. So who is responsible for your prosperity? You are. What is the story you tell yourself about money? Well, it's your money tale. It is the subconscious tale you continuously tell yourself about who you are, what money means to you, what money says about you, how much you deserve, how much you're worth, how much you're capable of, and what would happen if you lost it all. For example, if your money tale is one of poverty and lack, then you will live a much different life than someone who believes in prosperity and abundance. If you want to be a successful investor, you need to change your money tale. Remember, your BS, belief system, creates your balance sheet, your other BS. Assume your tale is one of poverty and lack. Your ongoing mantra might be, I am getting by, but things aren't great. With this mindset, even though you have a stated goal of financial freedom, that voice in your head, your gremlin, which you will learn about in the following pages, will keep whispering things like, I will never get out of credit card debt or pay off my student loans. If this is the story that you are telling yourself, whether you hear it consciously, it is going to be the story of your life unless you change it and your belief system. Don't get sick or you will go broke. This was the money tale that pervaded my consciousness when I became ill in 2014. Those words, or some version of them, were burned into my brain from an early age, whether from a well-meaning family member or my own observations about the world around me. This belief rooted itself deep within my soul. The belief was that a serious or chronic illness is a profound threat that can derail the best laid plans of any man or woman. I can tell you this thought derailed me really almost as much as my diagnosis. You will read more about that in my book, Flashes of Light. As I lay in the hospital in my stroke-addled state, in which I had limited expressive abilities, the only things I could focus on was doing what I needed to do to get the hell out of the hospital, and the cha-ching going out of my husband's and my bank accounts and into the coffers of the hospital. I should have been more focused on finding out definitively what caused my strokes. Instead, I focused more on getting out as quickly as I could and not staying 1 minute longer than necessary due to the financial concerns that I had. So I asked the nurse to ask the hospitalist to send me home. He agreed, and I was sent home from the hospital with no real reason for the stroke and aspirin as a protective measure going forward. The hospitalist in charge of my case was not happy to see me go, and for good reason. They had not found the cause. I was back there 1 week later with another stroke. This one temporarily deleted my left visual field. The cause of my maladies was found on the second hospital visit. They ran more tests, including one that had not been run before. They found that it was a cancerous, aggressive ovarian tumor. Long story short, I had surgery, chemotherapy, and I am fine now. However, one thing I often wonder is how much my fear and impatience due to that belief cost in terms of time. If they would have found the cause earlier, I may have avoided the second stroke, the third hospital visit, and could have been operated on much quicker. In the grand scheme of things, I am well. But if I was focused on my health instead of my bank accounts, I may have been further ahead in many ways. Because I am a coach, I am quite well acquainted with the impact of one story and the power of changing thoughts to change reality. Change your thoughts, change your energy, change your world. In addition to recognizing the theory of energy leadership and how energy affects you and those around you, another powerful example of this is the placebo effect. We find examples of the placebo effect in everything from headache relief to asthma treatment, and it is a necessary element of medical research as it helps to delineate the effect of an actual treatment from the effect of how we think about that treatment. From the placebo effect came the nocebo effect, which describes ill effects that can be produced in patients by warning them of the drug side effects or their susceptibility to diseases and other health risks, even when those risks are absolutely fictional. A placebo generates the effect of the story that accompanies it. Together with the inert pill, the patient is prescribed some expectations. In other words, he or she is told what is going to happen. In the majority of cases, it manifests. In their expectation of the situations, the patients actually create it. The placebo doesn't create the medical effect. It creates the expectations that accompany the story. The truth generated by the story is so powerful that it can even reverse the pharmacological effect of a real medicine. The placebo is a fabrication that becomes the truth. Our lives are made up of placebo and nocebo, our own perspectives. We don't just live the stories we tell, we become them. Your life story is not about your life, it is your life. By answering the thought-provoking questions in the exercises, you will discover your money tale. If you want to be a serious and successful investor, you need to understand your relationship with money. This will help you identify what is propelling you towards or thwarting your success. As you answer each of the questions, reflect on the corresponding energy level. The more you practice recognizing how energy shows itself, the more quickly you will be able to navigate your energy and use it to your advantage. It is important to recognize how your belief system might be creating the obstacles to your success and to remove those barriers. You have personal limiting beliefs. Quite frankly, almost everyone does. Often, these perceptions are so familiar and so embedded in how you do and see things that you lose awareness of them and of their impact. Perhaps you have some errant beliefs and fallacies about your financial picture or your investing prowess. Honestly answering the questions in the exercises will help you identify them and put a stop to the madness that might stop you in your tracks. Remember, limiting beliefs create limited finances. For example, if you believe that you will have to work hard to make money, you will have a difficult time getting wealthy. How many times have you heard that? Some of us believe this and many other statements that might be less than empowering. Regardless of where your beliefs came from, if you want to be prosperous, you must consciously release your limiting thoughts. Shifting those beliefs to new empowering ones will help you more than you can imagine. Energy blocks are obstacles that prevent you from accessing your highest energy. They block the flow of your true, powerful, and creative abilities. They hold you back, slow you down, and limit your ability to move forward in your success. There are 5 types of energy blocks. Anything you aren't achieving in your life is due to either one or a combination of these 5 blocks. Outer blocks. Outer blocks create stress and burden in your life physically and emotionally, blocking you from success. Some examples of outer blocks could be health, lack of time or time management skills, lack of capital and or other resources, equipment malfunctions or lack of technical knowledge, lack of knowledge or training, inability to communicate effectively, personal or family responsibilities or financial burdens, poor appearance. Inner blocks. Inner blocks we have an acronym for. There are 4 inner blocks that we identify. And the gremlin is GAIL, G-A-I-L. And that stands for gremlins, assumptions, interpretations, and limiting beliefs. Inner blocks are those blocks that are produced within you. They are the thoughts that disrupt and distract you from your success. They can be beliefs that you have about your world and your environment, ways in which you apply and integrate your experiences into the present moment, interpretations you create about events and people, and the inner critic that derails your attempt to achieve and accomplish your goals. By looking at these inner blocks carefully and objectively, you can release the hold they have on you, along with the catabolic or negative energy attached to them. Limiting beliefs hold you back from success. If you do not believe something is possible, you are not likely to attempt it. And if you do attempt it, you won't devote much energy to achieving that goal. Limiting beliefs are general beliefs about the world, your environment and situation, and the people around you that stand in your way. Once you become aware of and overcome limiting beliefs, they can no longer hold you back. And by shattering your limiting beliefs, you may light the way for others to do the same. Methods for challenging limiting beliefs include the following: provide evidence to the contrary, explore what effect this belief has had on your life, look for proof of its truth or lack thereof, modify the belief or aspects of the belief to better serve you. Key question: how true do I think that is? Another key question: where did I get that idea? Still another key question: can I be absolutely certain that this is true? Another one: how do I feel when I think that thought? Another one: who would I be, or how would my life be if I didn't have that thought or believe that? And finally, ask, what is the opposite view? Energy block number 2, assumptions. We've all heard the expression that when we assume, we make an ass out of you and me. And oftentimes we do. An assumption is believing that just because something happened in the past, it is going to happen again. Assumptions are more personal than limiting beliefs and more intimately involve you and those around you. Therefore, there is more energy associated with an assumption than a limiting belief. Assumptions can be debilitating to us because you know you have had an experience when you believe you already know something won't work. You might not even consider it a possibility. Even if you do try it, you might move in a counterproductive direction. Leaders who hold on tight to their assumptions may detract from another's creativity and therefore miss breakthrough solutions by refusing to validate or acknowledge another's ideas or input. Here are some examples of some assumptions in investing and wealth. Just because I made money on this stock, I assume I will make money again. Just because I lost money on this stock, I assume I will lose money again. I have been on a winning streak and I assume I just can't lose. I have been on a losing streak and I assume I just can't win. Investing is only for the wealth accumulation phase of my life, so I assume I can just stop doing so when I retire. So let's talk about challenging assumptions. The key question in challenging an assumption is simply, just because it happened in the past, why must it happen again? Challenging assumptions can sometimes be more involved than challenging limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are usually created from what we've been told, while assumptions are primarily based on our own experience. Consequently, assumptions are usually more internalized and emotional for us than limiting beliefs. The result? We may strongly resist letting go of an assumption. Delving deep to remove the emotion of the experience may be necessary before moving forward. Energy block number 3, interpretations. The next energy block to examine is the barrier built by false interpretation. When you interpret something, you create an opinion about an event, situation, or experience in life. What is the result? Most people believe their interpretations are correct, when actually an interpretation often represents the only one viewpoint among many that are possible. If you believe that your viewpoint of a particular situation is the only explanation, you might not be aware of another perspective. You may end up wasting a lot of time and resources by going in the wrong direction. As with assumptions, interpretations are personal. Holding on to them may feel easier and potentially less risky than challenging them. Yet, letting go of them opens up greater opportunities and experiences, and ultimately the greater leader within you. So, what are some typical interpretations? Well, we'll just go with investing interpretations for purposes of this program. The analysts say the stock is great, so it will go up. The earnings were positive, so the stock will go up. The news is positive, so the stock will go up. The news is negative, so the stock will go down. Well, we all know that those interpretations can be a lot less than accurate. So how do you challenge them? The key question for challenging interpretations is, what is another way to look at that? It is also helpful to seek other perspectives. This is particularly useful in resolving conflict when someone is upset about something that someone else has said or has done. You can challenge interpretations by asking a person to imagine what another individual's perspective might be, challenging yourself or others to argue the point of view directly opposite of yours or theirs interpretations. Now we're going to move on to energy block number 4, which is gremlins. What is a gremlin? It is the critic inside you. Your gremlin tells you not to try, never to take a risk, always to take the safe road, and to compromise your life by playing small. The message from your gremlin's warnings is that you are just not good enough to reach the summit of success. Your gremlin's annoying voice continues to whisper, "It ain't going to happen." This debilitating message comes in many forms and is highly personal. It is rooted deeply inside us and carries the most intense emotional charge of any of the blocks that we've explored. Your gremlin thrives on fear. When you hear the sound of your gremlin, your motivation to try dissipates. You dread feeling pain, failing, and being embarrassed. You can even be scared of succeeding if the gremlin convinces you that you're going to fail eventually. Typical gremlins are, the voice of your gremlin, the thoughts of your gremlin are, "I am not effective. Who am I kidding here? I'm not smart enough to invest successfully. I don't have enough experience. I don't deserve great success. They are going to find out I'm a phony." So how do you tame your gremlin? Well, the easiest way to banish your gremlin is to recognize him or it or her for what he, she, or it is. You need to reveal the face of that gremlin. In doing so, you will discover that the gremlin is only a part of who you are, but it's not your whole identity. By giving your gremlin an identity of its own, name it and claim it, and seeing how this mini monster looks inside of you, you can see it in objective terms and zap its strength. Now that you have explored your belief systems, your BS, it's time to move on to the worksheet and answer the questions. You may find out something about yourself and the certain beliefs that you hold and their impact on your success that may surprise you. Please provide yourself with a quiet space and enough time to complete the exercise.